gorgeous people. This is Ambizzares DIY and other stuff. I'm Amber, and in this video I'm going to show you how I make my chunky ear warmers. Well, they're ear warmers, but some people wear them as neck warmers. Whatever you guys want to do, I really don't care, whatever floats your boat. But I originally, when I started making these, I was making them as ear warmers. So I thought it would be fun to show you guys how I make them, show you what I have available right now in my Etsy store. I know that we're getting into warmer weather, guys, so you guys are not thinking about being cold, but in reality, here in Ohio, we probably have a couple more months left of winter. We always get that snow in the March and everything. So, I mean, there's still time for cold weather stuff, okay? So I figured I would show you guys how I make these. And if you wanted to make one for yourself, you can do that. Or if you want to jump over to my Etsy store, you can buy them right now. Without further ado, let's jump into this tutorial. Okay guys, so for this project, I'm going to use the Bernat Ogo yarn. This is my absolutely favorite yarn to use for these, so let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a slip knot with the yarn. So I'm just going to take the yarn and I'm going to fold it over top of itself to make a little loop. Then I'm going to take the short end and I'm going to feed it through the loop. Okay, that's all there is to that part. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our loom and we're going to stick that little loop that we just made on the first peg of the loom, and then just tie it into place. So just slip it on there, tie it into place. I always take my little excess and I put it on the inside of the loom. Okay, so the next part that you want to do is loop your yarn around each of the pegs. So you're going to go around the entire loom here, looping your yarn around all of the pegs, okay? Once you've made it around one time, you're going to take that first little loops of yarn that you did, push them down, and you're going to loop your yarn around the pegs again, okay? So you're going to do the exact same process again, looping your yarn around each and every single peg, making sure that you push down that first loop that you did on the peg, okay? Now that you've done that, you can go ahead and wrap your yarn around that little peg that's on the bottom there if you want to. I usually don't do that, but I just want to show you can do that. Then I'm going to take this little, I don't know what they call this, a loom needle, I guess, that comes with the little kit. You're going to take that bottom loop and you're going to loop it over the top loop, okay? Bottom loop over the top, bottom loop over the top, over the peg, the whole thing, you know what I mean? And then you're just going to go all the way around, looping that bottom loop over the top loop, okay? Once you've done that, you're going to go around the loom again, pushing down that top piece to the bottom, wrapping a new loop around the top part of the loom. This is the process for this entire project, you guys. You're going to do this for, well, I really can't say how long, but you need to do this until you get to 22 inches long, okay? And as you go, what I'm showing you here, it gets longer. So I just go ahead and put it through the top part of the loom because when I wrap the pegs, I normally wrap them just like this. I leave the loom on the, on the little table there and I just wrap them around. So this here, I'm at the halfway point, okay, guys? I just want to show you what it's looking like so far, and it gets longer and a little bit more, I don't know, cumbersome, but you just move the, that inner part that's super long, around as you wrap everything around the pegs and as you pull your loops over top until you get to 22 inches. Again, we're trying to get to 22 inches for this project. So here's what it looks like once you've made 22 inches, okay? Just measure it here and there as you go, all right? So the next thing you want to do is take a knitting needle. So this is a knitting needle. I'm going to go ahead and thread it with this long piece of yarn that I've left over to show you how to cast off this very last wrap on your pegs here. So I went ahead, threaded the needle just like that, and now I'm going to just stick the needle underneath that first peg of the loop and then pull it through and then pull it off of the peg. Okay, I hope that made sense. So I'm sticking the needle underneath the loop, pulling it through, and then taking that loop off the peg. And this is what you're going to do all the way around to get until you get all of those pegs off of, or all of those loops off of the pegs. Once you've done that, this is what it looks like. You can pull it tight just a little bit, but you don't want to pull it too tight because what we're going to do is sew this together. That's why I left such a long piece so that I can just keep working, okay? So I'm just going to do a regular stitch to sew this together. Nothing fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy. We just need to get this end closed together. Once I get to the very end here, I'm going to take the yarn. I'm going to just loop it over itself a couple of times, just like that, stick my needle through to make a knot, and then I'm going to do it again just for good measure to make sure that everything stays nice and secure. Once I've done that, I'm going to cut off my excess here, and this is what it looks like. Now, this is actually the inside of the loom. So I'm going, or inside of the loom, inside of the head wrap. So what I'm going to do is take it and turn it right side out. So this is the side that you want everybody to see, because we had it inside out just now. This is the side that should be on the outside. It looks so pretty. Okay, so now I just took some more yarn with my needle here, and we're going to go ahead and close shut that other end. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just work it through the inside of the project, leaving a little tail, and then I'm going to tie these two tails together 3 times. 2 times is fine. I always do 3 for good measure to make sure that it stays nice and secure. People are going to be putting these through their washer and stuff, guys, several times probably, and I just want to make sure they stay nice and good. So you're going to go ahead and take that little knot that you just made, you're going to fold it towards the inside of the project, and then you're going to just stitch it shut just the exact way that we did the other end, okay? Don't have to worry about anything being fancy here, guys. Just make sure that you're getting through all of the open ends there to make sure that it's getting stitched together. Once you get to the end, guys, same thing. Just loop it over itself and put it through the loop to make a knot. And then you're going to go ahead and leave it on there. Don't take it off, okay? Leave that yarn on there. Just put it aside. You're going to take both ends and put them together just like this. Find your middle on each end and fold it in half, okay? Now take your other end, find the middle, fold it in half, and then you're just going to sandwich them into each other. I hope this makes sense, guys, but you can see what I'm doing here, okay? So just sandwich them into each other just like this. Then you're going to take the needle and you're going to thread this together just as you did both of those ends, okay? So I go ahead and I sew down one side, and then I go through and I sew down again because I want to make sure that this stays nice and secure, okay? So you just want to make sure that you're going through all of those 4 ends that you sandwiched together and make sure that you're getting the yarn through. That's why I think it's good to go through twice instead of just once. That way you can make for certain that you've gone through all 4 of those ends that you've sandwiched together here. Once you get to the end, you're just going to go ahead and loop it off just as you did before. But before you cut off your excess, what you want to do is make sure that you put the needle back through to pull the knot through to the inside. You don't want the knot to be on the outside of your project. So here I am looping it once, then I'm going to go through, I'm going to loop it again, and then I'm going to just put the needle through to the other side, okay? Right next to it there, just put it through to the other side, just like that. Pull it in, and that pulls that leftover knot towards the inside of your project. Then you cut off your excess, pull that through, tuck it on the inside of the project. Then when you flip it right side out, there's your little knot in the front. How cute is that, you guys? I think this looks just, I love these. I think they're so cute. Okay, so the next thing that I do, you could stop there, but I go ahead and I sew down each of these ends to make sure that they stay where I want them to stay. So I'm going to do the exact same process that you saw me do before, just leaving a little bit of excess there, tie it into a knot. I tie it 3 times, twice would be good, but I always do 3. And then you're just going to go ahead and sew this into place. Just a couple of stitches, guys, just to make sure that this stays down where you want it to stay. Again, this is just an extra measure that I take, but not one that you have to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, just do a couple of stitches just like you're seeing me do here, and then I'm going to tie this off, and I'm going to do the exact same process that you saw me do on the other side here. Now I didn't quite leave a long enough tail, so it's a little difficult for me to tie it, so just make sure you leave a long enough tail so you don't have a hard time tying this off. And then I'm just going to pull it through so that the knot is on the inside of the project, just as you see me do before. So I'm just going to pull it through to the other side. Now, because I left such little working end there, I'm just going to cut off that little piece that's left and just tuck it towards the inside. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the front, cut off the little piece, put it towards the inside. So then I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side here. I'm not going to show you that, but it's going to be the exact same thing on this other end, okay? So once I do that, the next thing that I'm going to show you here is the finished project. So I think these are so fun to make, you guys. I love sitting in front of the TV and just making these. This is what it looks like on the inside, and it looks bulky, guys, but you cannot feel this when you have it on your head. I assure you it is super, super comfortable. I do have these available in my Etsy shop. So here's my Etsy shop, guys. I just started loading it again, so I only have 3 sales, but I'm going to try to get things going. I'm going to go ahead and click on the listing that has the one that we just made. I have this one in brown, then there's the one we just made, and here's some of the other colors. I hope that you guys go over and check it out. If you guys are on Etsy, go ahead and favorite my shop. It really helps it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll catch you in my next one.